Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Concerns grew on the last day of the Pro Farmer Crop Tour as temperatures continue to rise. In Iowa, the second biggest soybean producing state, many scouts wondered whether the crop was either dying or drying out in several fields. Temperatures on Thursday soaring again into the triple digits across the Midwest, but are expected to cool down as we head into the weekend. Now, on top of the heat, drought seems to be building back in. The latest drought monitor putting 32% of the U.S. now in drought, up 2% from last week. Zooming in on the final stops of the tour, Iowa, more than 74% of that state is in drought, with 5% now in extreme drought. Minnesota, where both legs of the tour ended up last night, not faring much better, 72% now in drought. A look at where the drought is focused when it comes to soybeans, the areas shaded there in red, the hardest hit, with 38% of the soybean crop in drought, Iowa there in the bullseye.
Now we're sitting here with going to be 2 or 3 days of 120 degrees heat index. Beans are an August crop, so this crop is not finishing very well.
Corn in drought, also inching up, now 43% in drought, up 1% from last week.
Coverage of the 2023 Pro Farmer Crop Tour is brought to you by Pioneer. Pioneer combines cutting-edge research with one of the largest local testing programs in the industry to help farmers succeed. Pioneer, what's next happens here.
And here are just a couple of examples of what high heat and drought are doing to the corn crop in eastern Iowa. These photos taken by Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan following scouts on the eastern leg as they traveled through that area on Thursday. The tour traveling from Iowa City to Rochester, Minnesota. Tyne joins us now, and Tyne, those areas south of Waterloo are all in extreme drought.
Well, Clinton, now we've traveled north of Waterloo, and as you can see, this area also in drought. But the scouts that we talked to are more concerned about the soybeans than they are the corn, especially considering there's no rain in the forecast. It's the final day of Pro Farmer Crop Tour in the East.
What did I have? 44, 94 years.
And what scouts saw
It's good corn, but the ear count wasn't very good.
was an extremely variable crop.
That's what they called that.
Peter Meyer describes this Iowa crop as the most variable and the most mature he's seen in his 17 years of crop tour.
This crop just didn't get enough moisture, and it ran out of energy.
Meyer says while signs of stress are visible, he's actually surprised how well the crop has withstood such little rain.
It's certainly not a disaster by any stretch of the imagination, but when you look at ears to at what the potential could have been with some rain, it really could have been a monster.
Field after field, extremely variable is what sums up the crop here.
We get to this time of year, we're looking at yield estimates, trying to understand the productivity in the crop, and this might be as complicated of a year. It's dynamic.
Adding to the complication, the variability that's also showing up in soybeans.
I don't really know if it's SDS or if it's just that it's their time to go.
And as you can see, fields of yellow soybeans are just another sign of the challenges eastern Iowa farmers have faced this year.
It's interesting because you'll come upon one field where I would say that maybe 50% of it is this yellow color, and the field is obviously dying.
The pod counts on Meyer's route in Iowa coming in better than what they saw in Illinois.
There certainly are beans in the pods, and they're full beans, but boy, I've just been disappointed all week with the number of pods that I've seen.
But according to area agronomists, pod counts aren't the greatest risk.
It's really more seed size. That really is going to be the penalty now for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
The biggest concern for beans now, not just the heat, but the fact one weather model pointing to no rain in this area until September 8th.
Now we're sitting here with going to be 2 or 3 days of 120 degrees heat index. Beans are an August crop, so this crop is not finishing very well.
Reporting from the eastern leg of Pro Farmer Crop Tour, I'm Tyne Morgan.